Hello everybody, it's me, Siobhan, the Galloping Housewife. I am on my way into Ayr to see my dentist, and then I'm going to stop by the yard and ride Percy on the way home. I rode him yesterday, which was a little bit exciting. He hasn't been ridden for a week. They're not being turned out at the moment. They're just being put on the walker, just because the paddocks are a bit wet, and the walker was frozen in the morning, so it hadn't been out of the box at all. It was really cold. The next door neighbour was up a ladder up the top of his chimney drilling shit, and then the lads from that work for the yard owner's husband were putting tin corrugated iron into a fence line, which required a whole lot of banging and crashing around, and including sheets of corrugated iron being spun around in the air. And Percy's like, he's a Connemara, and there's two types of Connemara. There's the dope on a rope, won't do anything, won't put a foot out of place, and then there's the ones that are just complete and utter borderline nutcases, and Percy is very, very, very firmly in the second camp. He looks like butter wouldn't melt, but it's very entertaining. It's like sitting on a time bomb. So yeah, it was fun. We did a lot of transitions and a lot of shoulder and a lot of yeah, and even so, there were moments where I was just hanging on for grim death and hoping that it would all come off out in the wash. So yeah, so that was yesterday, and I also had a talk with the vet. Well, I didn't have a talk because I don't answer the phone. But I had a couple of messages backwards and forwards with the vet who is looking after Mitch, and he's looking like he'll come home on Wednesday or Thursday. Everything's going well. It's just they want to send him home with as few therapies as possible, and with everything as complete as possible, so which is great. But yeah, he'll be home for Christmas, I hope. And as we're going nowhere, that suits me just fine. And yeah, I mean, there's all this shit here in the UK where we've got Omicron doing the rounds, and ridiculous numbers of cases, and yeah, it's all looking decidedly pear-shaped, and as per usual, the government is playing politics rather than actually looking after the public good. So, but they're talking about they'll probably have to bring in some sort of restrictions, lockdown restrictions, as soon after Christmas as possible, as is practical. But there's an issue with that. There's a lot of people that will be travelling will not be able to travel. So, well, yeah. And I don't know how they'll work it here, because people that are miles away from home, if they're relying on public transport to get back to their normal accommodation, then there's only so many people there that can tolerate at any given time, and there are a lot of people in the UK that only train, so only that rely on public transport. So yeah, it'll be fun. In New Zealand, they had the first lockdown, I think, in 48 hours to get back home, and there were a lot of people even there that were stuck in different islands, different towns from where home was, and they were really strict about it, that you couldn't travel. Mind you, I think here they'll just let you go, because they don't follow rules in this country anyway. They don't impose anything that might possibly be of any use. So yeah, so there's that going on. So if you are travelling, Well, for a start, I hope that you're taking tests and stuff. This is really, I mean, I'm not here to talk about, I did have a page with pandemic information, to combat all the misinformation that's out there, and I closed it down, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I had other things to spend my time and energy on, and I just, you're screaming into the void, and I find it really incredibly frustrating that the most basic, the most basic public health strategies are not being followed. The stuff that I was taught as a nurse, and yes, we ended up having a couple of outbreaks of various not so flesh infectious diseases. There was SARS, there was what was known as the swine flu, and what was known as the bird flu, H1N1 and H5N1. So I did end up working on the front of that, and so we got a bit of a refresher when that happened. But it's just so basic, and nothing's being done, and it's just so possible for us to be living now, and in the not too distant future at virtually zero COVID, which doesn't mean zero COVID. We're not ever, well, we possibly could get back to that, but that's like a smallpox vaccine away. It's a long way away, but we can certainly get down to the fact where we know where every case is and where every case originates from, and have it into tiny little numbers where it does not affect the population like it's looking like it will for years to come. I find it really fucking frustrating. So I pulled back on that, on the page, and what and on actually putting that information out there. So I really, this is not what this is about. I mean, obviously I'm talking about it today, but rest assured it's not, it's not my thing. It's not why I'm here, and what I will be talking about. I'll hopefully be a little more inspiring, really. But there's no two ways about it that the pandemic has altered the way we live, and it's altered our consciousness a little bit, and not always in a bad way. I think that we are realizing that the things that really do matter is time, and the time that we can spend with the people that that are important to us, and doing the things that matter to us, and and that's that a certain amount of money is helpful, to be able to live the lives that we want to, but it's not the be all and end all. That we don't need to be chasing some sort of corporate ladder, or that it's okay if we don't all reach the pinnacle of whatever it is that we're going for, that we still have worth and value at whatever level or whatever life we live, and I think that's really important. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's being ambitious is also perfectly valid, and I am still ambitious. I'm ambitious with my writing, I'm ambitious with my businesses, I've still got goals with those sort of things, and they've not been put by the wayside, but I'm also not going to sacrifice the relationships that I have, and the other things that I enjoy doing, just simply to chase those things anymore. So I'm on my way, like I said, into the dentist. I was down in London for 48 hours or a bit over the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I've been taking lateral flows every day. Took another one this morning and I'm negative. I mean, we've been fairly careful with what we've been doing and where we've been going. So yeah, I will continue to do that. And yeah, fingers crossed we've got this far. It'd be a pain in the ass if we get knocked down now. And for those of you that are watching from the States, it's yeah, I'm a little bit gobsmacked by, I thought that our government was not paying attention, but it seems like there's nothing going on over there yet. And you know, you're seeing some pretty horrific things happening in the healthcare sector. And in New Zealand, I know that you've got a couple of cases, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they've pushed back the finish of MIQ, being a little bit more careful of it, but I don't think that you've got any concept as to just how infectious this is. So yeah, once it gets out in the community, because you've got a virgin community, you've got very little infection, previous infection there. It might be a bit scary, but anyway, fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because I've got all my family back there. Right, on that cheery note, yeah, I'm just here to say basically take care, be careful, get all your vaccinations, get your booster, mask up. We've all converted to FFP2s, N95s, so you know, the more substantial masks, and yeah, unfortunately you just hang out at home. Yeah, take care. All right, bye.